Good morning, everyone. We're ready for our first panel discussion. If you guys need to know their bios, they're in the program. You'll be able to find out who all these amazing people are. The first question we have is, how did you come to this role as a community leader?
Hi everyone, my name is Yilan Batista, and I'm thank you, Dr. Wan, for having me here. It's really great to be here at this conference. So, my story of like how I came to my position as a community leader, I guess, is I grew up in China, in Shanghai, and I remember since like from a very young age, I was really influenced by Eurocentric thinking, and I just thought that my ultimate goal in life was to go to America and to become as white as I could be. And then summer before freshman year of high school, I did finally go to America. I thought like, my life is like finally gonna be like amazing now. But then I started high school and I realized that I really did miss my hometown a lot. And that surprised me because my whole life I thought that I needed to get out. So it was shocking that I actually did miss China. And it was also interesting to be like in a school with mostly white people, because for the longest time I thought that whiteness was something that I had to strive for, and suddenly I realized that even if I lived in America and I knew everything about American history and I could be American in the most possible way, they were still not going to see me as fully part of their community. I noticed that on social media you can really connect with other people who have similar struggles and passions as you, and it's pretty easy to like get your thoughts and your opinions out there. So I started an Instagram account dedicated to talking about Asian pride and Asian struggles, and over time I grew that account. It's been around 2 years that I've had this account, and I like post regularly. I make sure to write my own pieces on what I think about racism, immigration, imperialism, all these issues. And I think I've like built a pretty supporting community on my account. I have a decent following. I got like 38,000 followers.
Decent. 38,000.
It's been really great for me because when I started off freshman year, I felt really alone and I really missed home so much. So being able to like create this platform where people feel supported and like seen by my words really means a lot.
I haven't told people.
I'm 15.
That's right, baby.
Is also one of our younger leaders. I think the idea though is that she's 15, dude. When we met her, she was 14, and she has a following of 38,000, which means there's much more to come, right? So that I just wanted to kind of give props and because we tend to be very humble, and we don't really have to be. So. The second question I have for you all is, what have been the histories of violence that have impacted the communities you work with and or are a part of? Yilan, actually we'll do Yilan. Okay, thank you.
So I kind of want to speak a bit on the gender-based violence that Halima mentioned. So one of like the first forms of racism and stereotypes that I came across when I came to America was stereotypes against Asian women. So I knew that there were these stereotypes of Asian women, East and Southeast Asian women being seen as just weak. And then, over time, I would see news reports of like Asian women who were raped in racialized ways. Like there was this case at USC where there were 90+ Chinese immigrant students assaulted by their school gynecologist. There was a Vietnamese mother who was raped and then killed by 2 white men who called her a chink. So I saw this news, and I also knew that it wasn't just something you read on the news. It's something that happens where you live. So I started wonder, where exactly do these stereotypes come from? Like they didn't just come out of nowhere. And then to focus more on the East and Southeast Asian communities that I engaged the most with, I realized that there is a history of imperialism and colonization behind it. In Southeast Asia particularly, the Philippines was colonized, and during the American-Philippine War, there was a sex tourism industry built to cater towards the American soldiers. And I've done readings on this. The industry was marked by a lot of racialized exploitation of the native women, similar occurrences in Vietnam during the Vietnam War and in Korea. And then when we look a bit closer to like these interventionist violence in Asia, you can see that it was all about Western desire for dominance, because from like the American standpoint, they intervened in Vietnam to suppress communism and fight for democracy, and the violence was marked by a flagrant dismissal of the life. And then if you look at the idea that they were suppressing communism, it's very telling for why it was such a flagrant dismissal of life. Because in Western countries, and I've learned like this like so many times in my history classes, equality is constructed around the idea that the West is democratic. So from like the American military and government standpoint, it almost makes sense why they would see Asian countries and Asian people as not deserving of equality. Because if equality is a child of democracy and they saw us only as the communist threats, then how could we be deserving of humane treatment? And it goes back to what Alina said also about gender-based violence being a tool of war. I feel like there are many people who have done studies about how like the violence of a war can often be measured through like how much like the women suffered. And then because Western conventional violence was all about suppressing communism, suppressing like the communist Asian countries, there's this idea of domination to it. And that explains very well then why Asian stereotypes rest on Asian women being seen as weak and submissive, because it all boils down to a desire for domination. So the idea of like, conquering our countries is linked to the idea of also conquering the women's bodies. And like recently it came out that the victim of Brock Turner was an Asian woman, Chanel Miller. And there has also been lots of Asian activists who have spoken up on this connection of like imperialism and the desire to like the idea that white men have like ownership over our bodies. And I think that's like the history behind why so many Asian communities, Asian women are just seen as like exotic and like docile creatures for like white men to just like play around with and then discard when they're done.
That's why 38,000 followers. That is exactly why 38,000 followers. That was the conference. You are now dismissed. Take a bet. Wow, so much brilliance. Can we have a round of applause for the brilliance? Thank you guys. Oh, we're doing over.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
There are gonna be so many people just like they can't wait to ask us to speak some more. So I love
My dad, he also has his own native languages, and he tried to teach me French when I was growing up, and it was difficult for me too because like I spoke Chinese and English better, so I understand.
so inspiring. You gave me a lot of courage. This is good for the kids. Like this is like she's one of the only activists that gets through to him. Well, we didn't know she was 15. It's incredible, and I was thinking about coming, but then she said she was coming. I'm like, I'm going.
Oh!
I'm gonna go, and I'm 42. I'm gonna be a fan of a child.
Oh, thank you so much.
So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. I read most of the things you put. That really hit me. What's the aspiration for your account? Like, what do you try to accomplish?
Well, for my account, I really just want to raise awareness about issues that I think is important, because I think raising awareness is both very liberating and motivating. Liberating in the sense that it can teach you what the systems are behind your feelings of internalized racism, and then it teaches you that you don't have to hate yourself or your own community. And it's also motivating because then once you know what systems these are, you can fight against them. With my account specifically, I just want to continue with the sort of education work, but when I get older, I definitely want to branch out into more organizing.
Okay, wonderful. Your last name is Batista. What is your other background?
So my father is ethnically Cuban, and I identify more as Asian because I did grow up in Asia and I am more Asian presenting, but I do care about Latinx issues as well. And when I do talk about Latinx social justice, I focus more on Afro, Indigenous, and Asian Latinos. I'd like to talk about the struggles that they face and how we should be uplifting these marginalized Latinos.
Congratulations. Keep up the good work. Thank you.